Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining this first info session welcoming you to Estonia. My name is Kristina Viliste. I am from the Study in Estonia initiative, and I will be giving you a very brief introduction, first of all, into the country of Estonia, what it is that you might expect once you arrive here, and some useful things to know about the people, the language, the culture, and so on. So let's get started. First of all, most likely you've already found Estonia on the map, so this will not come as a surprise to you. However, here is, just in case, a little illustration to give you an idea of really what a small country we are. We are situated in Northern Europe. However, we are full member of the European Union, the Schengen area, NATO, so we are very well connected. And there are plus sides to being a small country, and I will tell you about these in a moment as well. So to give you an idea of what the people are like and how many of us there actually are, there's not a lot. There's simply 1.3 million people. Yes, that's million with an M. So that's not a lot of people here. However, we have quite a lot of nationalities. So yes, 70% of us are Estonians, 25% are Russians, and then 5% make up rest of nationalities. However, it's quite a varied selection. And what might be interesting for all of you to know as well is that even though about a third of our country is Christian, over half are non-religious. So speaking about the character of Estonians, once you do get here, prepare yourself a little bit for well-reserved, composed, maybe even slight poker faces welcoming you. So Estonians do take a little bit of time to warm up and to open up, so you will need to work at it a little bit. However, once you find an Estonian friend, you can always count on them to be honest and straightforward. And if they ask you how you're doing, they really do want to know sincerely, so they're not looking for just a polite one-word answer to that. And yes, language. We have our very own language here in Estonia called Estonian. However, we have most of the people here speaking fluent English all across the country, so it will not be a problem getting by with the English language. However, if you do want to learn Estonian, then keep in mind it will sound very similar to Finnish and not at all like Russian, which is the second language spoken in Estonia widely. So let's have a look at the language itself. Here are a couple of examples of the words you may find in Estonian. So you will see quite a lot of dotted vowels, which will be interesting to pronounce for you. We have 14 cases in the Estonian language. However, we don't have the future tense and we don't have grammatical gender. So there are things that make it easier and things that will make it a little bit tougher. But it's good to know that learning Estonian as an international student will not be mandatory for you. So we are very happy if you do decide to learn it, and it's definitely easier to make Estonian friends that way, but you can get by on English. So moving on from that to something that we are also very proud of, which is our digital society. So ever since regaining our independence some decades ago, we have put a lot of resources into this. And the idea is that all of the services that the government provides should be available to people online, wherever they may be living. So right now, we are at a place where 99% of our state services are online. 99% of all of our prescriptions, medical prescriptions, are online. Companies, most of the time, are formed online. And we save a lot of time signing documents digitally as well. So this is all something that will come in very handy for you also. So yeah, there's only two things you can't do digitally in Estonia. Now I will not tell you what those two things are right now. You can think about it a little bit by yourself, and afterwards, once we move on to the Q&A session, then I'll perhaps let you know what those two things are. But filing personal taxes, for example, just takes 3 minutes. Very easy, very comfortable. And we also have something called E-Residency, which we're the first country to offer something that no matter where you are in the world or where you may be living, with E-Residency, you can have access to Estonia's business ecosystem, to our tax system, and you can take full advantage of our online services. So I will need to note that this is not residency in the traditional case, so it's not a travel document and it does not allow you entry into Estonia, but it does give you access to our online systems. And from the digital side, we go on to more ecologically friendly topics. So cleanest environment, this is something we're also very happy about and very proud of. So even though we're small, even then 51% of our territory is actually covered in forests. And this contributes a lot to the air quality in Estonia, which is the 4th best for urban air. And a good fact to remember, wherever you may be in mainland Estonia, the nearest bog or marsh will always be less than 10 kilometers away. So think about it. If you get an idea to go into nature, it will take you like a 15-minute train ride to take a walk in the bog. You can, for example, explore the longest ice road in Europe, which connects our mainland to our island Hiiumaa. You can also experience something called the 5th season. So you may know that Estonia has 4 distinct seasons, winter, spring, summer, and autumn, but we also have something called the 5th season, which is the flooding season. And this allows also for some quite spectacular experiences. And most importantly, you will have time and space to think. There's not a lot of people here, there's a lot of untouched nature, so you will experience being alone as a very special thing. And from there, of course, we can't get around the education topic, which is why you're here listening to this open week session as well. So Estonians love education so much that we put a lot of effort into advancing all levels of study and making sure that ICT, as a very important sector, is incorporated into all of them. So it might be interesting to know that our basic education is the best in Europe, meaning our 15-year-olds are rocking it. And that is actually laying a very good foundation for our higher education as well. Meaning a lot of our universities are ranked high in the main rankings for QS and Times Higher Education. We are also ranking #1 for digital learning, which actually does mean how we are incorporating ICT into all levels of study. And every 10th student recognizes the value in learning ICT and actually chooses that as their sector. So you might have a question. Okay, I decide to come to Estonia, so will I be the only international student there? No. Within the last 10 years, our international student body has grown quite well. Right now, about 12% of all our students are international. So that's 5,236 international students already here, ready to share their experiences as well. And we have people from all over the world. So of course, a lot of them come from our neighboring countries like Finland and Russia, but also from further away like Bangladesh, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, and so on. And it's good to know that high-level English is spoken across all our universities, so you really can count on a good education. And here are some facts just about the living situation here. So when you come here, everything is new, but it's good to remember a few things that will help you get along. So for example, most food stores and shopping centers, and there are a lot of them, you will see how much Estonians love shopping, are open throughout the week, even on weekends and up until late into the evening, so you never have to worry about running out of food. Also, tap water is drinkable across the country, so again, no need to spend money on expensive plastic bottles and bottled water. Shoes are usually not worn indoors, so if you go to visit an Estonian, make sure you leave your shoes by the door. If you're in a car or in a taxi, seatbelts must be fastened, even in the back seat, or else you can get fined by the police. And also, we hope you already know that because of our geographical location, winters and autumns can get pretty dark in Estonia, so it is important to wear a reflector, which will help keep you safe here. And also, make sure to get ready to get some warm clothes. A little bit about the costs that might be involved. I won't go too much into tuition fees, as you will learn about them within the program info sessions, but generally you will see that our tuitions are about 1,500 to 6,000 euros per year. Of course, if you're studying in Estonian, which some of you might actually speak the Estonian language already, then you're able to study for free. PhD studies are also tuition free, and there are governmental scholarships available for it, and also scholarships for other levels as well. So you will learn more about those within the info sessions that you will be attending later on. Expense-wise, dormitory rent can be from anywhere from 80 to 150 euros. Flats can be anywhere from 200 to 500 euros, depending on where you want to live and how high your living standards are. But you should take into account to have at least 500 euros to get by comfortably in Estonia. And also keep in mind there are discounts available for students, so make sure you have an ISIC or ESN card to prove your student status. And from there, many of you will have this question: if I come and study here, am I allowed also to work? And the answer is yes. With the residence permit for studying, which you will get, you can actually also work without any additional permits, and your working hours will not be limited. However, there is one important note to keep in mind, is that you working cannot start interfering with your studies. You are still expected to graduate within nominal time, and if you work and you're not able to fulfill your studies, then your residence permit will get revoked. Also, once you graduate, you can stay in the country for an extra 9 months to look for a job if you so wish to stay here. And a good source to start looking for a job is workinestonia.com website. However, it's also good to know that we have a very vibrant startup ecosystem here. So there's over 1,000 startups created here, 5 of them actually in unicorn status. So this sector is pretty much always looking for qualified international workers to help them go global. So this is a good place to start. And lastly, let's wrap it up with a little bit of info about documentation and how you actually will be able to get to Estonia. So once you have received your acceptance letter from the university, which is the first step, afterwards, if you're a non-EU student, you should look up the nearest embassy to you, Estonian embassy. So if you do not have an Estonian embassy in your own country, you would need to travel to the nearest country to actually apply for a visa to be able to arrive here in Estonia. And once you get here, you can then apply for a residence permit or a TRP at the local police and border guard office. Once you get the TRP, you will usually get it for the entire duration of your studies. However, keep in mind, processing this type of paperwork will always take time, so make sure you get started early on so you have time to get everything ready and arrive here. And here are some websites as well, so if you want to find the list of embassies, go to our Ministry of Foreign Affairs website, and Police and Border Guard if you want to read more about residence permits. And then a few more practical details. Estonia has right-handed traffic. Our emergency number for everything police, ambulance, or firefighters is 112. We have the standard voltage system of 230 volts, type F power sockets. Our time zone is UTC plus 2 hours, and area code for dialing here is +372. And one last fact to leave you with before I wrap this up is a little bit of statistic from a global survey looking at international student satisfaction within their host country. And we're really happy to say that 2019 results show that 91% of our international students say that they are happy with their life at their chosen university, and 97% feel safe here. So we really do hope that you decide to join us and help provide this good experience to you as well. If you want to find more information about overall studying opportunities in Estonia, then studyinestonia.ee is the website to go, or write us an email at info@studyinestonia.ee. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening, and I will be heading over to the Q&A session shortly. I hope you join me.
Thank you so much. It was really, really informative. Like, if I wasn't in Estonia at the moment, I would just want to pack my bags and start running down to Estonia.
Good.
But quickly, I have a question for you. So what are the very first, maybe 3 words that I have to learn, you know, when I come to Estonia? What are those words that are very important, you know, right from the airport?
I think for any language, the important thing is to maybe sort of learn the politeness things first. So obviously, hello would be a good thing to know, which is tere in Estonian. Tere. Yeah. Good. And then, of course, please and thank you. So please is palun.
Palun.
Yep, excellent. And thank you is aitäh.
Aitäh.
Yeah, that one gets tricky for a lot of international students.
I think if you want to say like thank you very much, like sur aitäh. Sur is big, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
see, you're already really.
Of course, good. I mean, I've been here for 2 years. I speak Estonian perfectly now.
Oh, we could switch to Estonian.
Just kidding. Anyways, this is just a reminder to everyone. If you have a question for Christina, you can just post it in the comment, and we'll be asking her whatever it is that you want to ask her about, and we will make sure that we touch it before she leaves the stage. So moving over to Estonia, basically, one of the things Estonia is known for is the startup ecosystem, and we hear that Estonia has one of the highest rates of startups in Europe. So can you give us more insight into how easy it is for us to be able to, you know, create a startup after studying? You want to start something. Is it something that as a student you can easily do?
It is, actually, and I mentioned in my presentation that ICT is pretty much incorporated into everything. However, entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial mindset is another aspect that sort of runs throughout all of our study levels. And in universities as well, there are specific startup programs that are organized for students, so they're for both local and international students, which will actually take you through all the different stages of, you know, coming up with an idea, doing product development, learning how to create a business plan, up until creating an actual startup. So a lot of startups, student startups, have started like that. So getting that support from university.
And I think it's also a note to mention that there's this startup week that happens beginning of every school year, where students can bring up their ideas, and the best ideas are funded at the end of the day. So I think it's a really, really awesome initiative. Now let's talk about living in Estonia. What are the fun things that can be done, you know, in this country, you know, when maybe you're off school and you want to have fun? What are things you would suggest to our incoming students to do?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of fun things to try, but I think it's good to remember that because we have these different seasons, we have winter, which you can explore by skiing or skating or just the white landscape. It's something that a lot of people never get to see just because of where they live geographically. Summertime will include a whole variety of other activities. But again, I think exploring the nature of Estonia is something that international students always really want to do and really love, because it is quite a special experience of being alone in the middle of the nature.
I have tried it and it's really awesome. You know, heading out into the borg, the weather and everything is just so awesome when you take that walk. Now, what is one festival that Estonian people do that we should look out to?
A festival?
Yeah.
We have a couple. We have actually a very good film festival organized in Estonia. It's called PÖFF in Estonian, but it's the Dark Nights Film Festival in English, which you will get a very good selection of international movies covered here, and it's something that a lot of people attend. We also have Tallinn Music Week, which is a very popular event. Again, you get to experience so many different types of music and see artists here. So there really is quite a lot of big events.
Yeah, and in 2019, I was also part of the song and dance celebration.
Yes, that was the one I wanted to get to as well.
That was really, really awesome. I had never seen anything like that. It was like I was in a Disney world. You just took me out of, you know, we had the winter period and then summer happened and everything was just so beautiful. We had
everyone was singing.
Yes, and it was really awesome. And when you mentioned the film festivals, I'll also mention that we have our own Best of BFM in Tallinn University. So I would definitely not forget that. It's something that every student should watch out for. You see the best music video, the best of the best when it comes to production that happens right here at our own film school in Tallinn University. All right, you mentioned that there are two things.
Yes.
So can you just give us an insight into that?
Yes. Do you know what those two things are?
Is it love? I mean, I'm talking from the pictures that you had up there. So.
That is very important to those things, yes. So the two things that you cannot do, and I will give you the answers now, is you cannot get married online and you cannot get divorced online. Yep, so for that, you have to show up physically.
Is there a reason for that, though?
I'm sure they will find a way to push that online soon, but I think some things maybe are okay to do physically, face to face, obviously. So yeah, I hope they keep it like that.
Right now, I think that's the end of my questions. Thank you so much for giving us an insight into this. Really appreciate it. For those of you that watch, if you still have questions concerning this, please make sure that you leave us a comment and let us know what it is that you like to know about Estonia, and we'll be here to help you.